Three signs you possess rare emotional intelligence. Most people overlook these signals. Listen carefully. If you recognize
Good evening, Dr. Mr. Kumpensu Mamman was coming to me at my class in time or something in our message. The big one, it will be water. Good evening to everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good
How
evening,
are you
sir.
doing?
Please, we are
Yeah, we are
fine,
good,
thank you.
thank
Yourself?
you. So how are you?
I'm doing
So
fine.
how are you as well?
Sir, we miss you.
Are you sure?
Sir,
Yes.
yes. You did
Okay,
so
thank you
well
for,
on
for
Friday.
missing me.
Said they are
Yeah,
lying.
You're
I know
welcome.
they are lying. Don't mind them.
Oh, sir, it's true.
Sir, we are
Oh,
not
from the bottom
lying.
of
It's
our
true. We
hearts.
So
miss
I'm
you.
not lying.
Okay. Today, okay, before we come to today's work, let's talk a bit about, I know people are still joining, so let's use like 5 minutes to talk about what happened uh, during the quiz. What was the experience with the quiz? I want you guys to talk first. If I have anything to talk, I want to listen to you first. So it's an open discussion for everybody. Feel free. You just mention your name if you want to talk, and then I'll give you the opportunity to talk. So please, you should feel free to talk. What is your experience about what happened in the quiz? I mean, say something. Say something about the quiz.
Sir, please, the problem was the uploading.
Uploading.
Yes.
Okay. So someone says her problem was uploading. Please, just if you have your hand raised, just mention your name and go ahead to talk.
All right, sir, please. My name is Aidan. One of the
Yeah, then.
problems, yes, sir. All right. One of the problems we faced was the what do you call it? Getting the data frame into our computer. That was one of the problems we faced.
Mm,
Like downloading the data frame. That's one.
yeah, downloading the data set. Okay. What else? When I was going around, many people were like, they were confused. They didn't know where to click. I could see a lot of issues like that. So I want to see more people talking. Don't expect someone will talk your problem for you. They will talk. What challenge or what challenges did you face? No challenges, apart from the few ones you have said. Yeah, please go ahead.
My name is Emmanuel. Network issue to his part.
Your name again, please.
My name is Emmanuel. I was like network issue to his part.
Emmanuel what?
Emmanuel.
Okay, Emmanuel. Network issue.
And I was like network issue to his part.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what other issue?
Sir, please, mine was the network.
Okay, I think network was generally a problem. But for some of you, apart from network and also the issues, yeah, someone's hand is up. Please go ahead.
Yes, please. My name is Mawinya Fia.
Mauli,
Mawinya Fia.
yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. Please. The instruction for the Google Colab was really simple, but when you want to use the Jupyter Lab, it's complicated and we are finding it difficult to get that one.
Okay. Any other concern during the quiz? Ima, your hand is still up. Do you still have something to say? Emmanuel, good day.
Sir, please, my name is Emmanuel Day.
Emmanuel, there, please go ahead.
Sir, please, I wanted to know why our names were attached to the name of the CSV file. Because some of us didn't basically know we were supposed to rename the CSV file before we upload them. So I wanted to know why.
Okay. But if you renamed it or if you didn't rename it, the data set is the same. And the most important thing was the data set itself, not necessarily your name. So fine. You have a question with it, but I don't think that was the main challenge for doing the assignment. The reason why your name was with the data set is that the way I shared the data set with you, there's an option for you to say, okay, make a copy for every student. So that was your copy. It's the same data set, but that is your copy in your drive. That's why it came like that. But it doesn't change the data set, it's the same thing. And once you have the data set, whether it is in your name or it is somewhere else, the job you were to do had nothing to do with your name self.
So please, when I was calling the file, it wasn't coming. It was giving me error. So I had to rename it. So after
Yes.
renaming it and using the file path, it came.
Okay. I now get your problem.
Yeah.
Okay. I now get your problem. So because I made a system do a copy for you, the system saved the files in your name. But in the question, the file name was a different thing from your name. Okay, I get your point. Kwafo, root talk.
Yes, sir, I did mine with the Anaconda, but then I had to come back to the collab to check the questions inside the collab and then go back to Anaconda to go and do it there. And then when I finished I had a problem with handing in the file because I couldn't transfer it back into the Google Classroom to submit it. So I couldn't submit it.
Okay.
So
Maoli, Isaac.
so
Okay, Ruth, I've gotten your concern.
yes.
Maoli, Isaac, Kofi, please,
Yes,
you
sir.
can go ahead.
Okay. So one of my main problem was that I mistakenly deleted some of the questions. So I don't know if you can make it in a way that it cannot be deleted whilst we are working on
I will see if I can do that.
it. Okay.
But I don't have full control over how the system works, but I'll check if there is something like that.
Okay.
Dennis, your hand is up.
Sir, please, to some of us, there's the Google Classroom was new to us because the tutorial session we had, there's a CV file was sent to us through WhatsApp, but this thing was new to us. That's why we didn't know what to do.
Okay. But Dennis,
Hey.
when did you log into the Google Classroom? Was it the same day as the exam day, or you were able to log in some days at least before the
I
exam
think
day?
2 days before.
2 days before, that is why. You see, so I announced, I think I remember I created a classroom and announced that you should join at least a week before the quiz, at least a week before. The essence is that immediately you log in, as a student, you should be inquisitive enough to be trying to read around. Oh, okay, what is this platform like? What is it trying to do? How is it organized? Anytime you are on a system, that's the first thing you should be trying to do. So the system basically has 3 buttons. I'll take some time and do some brief tutorial about the quiz, especially the section B, and then as part of it, maybe I'll also do a quick tutorial about the classroom. But I attached some short videos. So immediately you sign on to the classroom, you see that those videos are there. And I had put information there that go through this video to kind of be able to understand how Google Classroom works. But as usual, a typical African student wants grades. He doesn't want to read. He just wants letters written on a sheet of paper. And then he takes it. For what he's taking it for is up to himself or herself. So majority of you didn't watch those quick videos. The lengthiest one was 9 minutes, which is teaching you about, as a student, how you have to, it's a very flexible system. But 2 days before the quiz, and also having a lot of materials to consume, I'm sure you were not able to watch it. That is the main reason why you suffered that blow. It wasn't because the system is that bad. Okay, so this evening we are going to do 2 things. I'm quickly going to go over what we did, because what I saw, especially with the session B, I was furious. And it only demonstrates students who are not willing to learn anything. Fine, it might not be so. That's why I'm asking you for... Ruth, your hand is still up. I think you still have something to say. Or your hand is up from the previous... Okay.
Yes, from the previous question. You
Okay.
still not answered my question.
Yeah, well, it was a concern or a question. You said you couldn't hand in your
Yes,
file.
it was a concern too.
Okay. Okay, so I'll talk something about it. Yeah, Godwin. Godwin, go ahead. Your hand is up. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go over the quiz for you to get familiarized with it, because it was disastrous the way I was looking at people going about it. Now let me try and see if I can access the Google Classroom. Is it this one? No, this might be different. This is different. Okay, so let me share my screen and then we can go through your challenges and then we try to resolve it the best way we can. If your hand is up, you can go ahead and talk. Rosina, please go ahead.
Sir, please, I wanted to ask if in exams we are going to do it like the way we did it in quiz. Like, why don't we do
Rosina, your statement is not complete. Check your distance.
sorry?
Check your, please check your mic. I think you got cut off along the line.
My network.
So say it again. Can you come again? What you were trying to say? Can you say it again? Regina? Okay, so no problem. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the platform. You have these three buttons. If you are using a phone, please try and put your microphones on. If you are using a phone, you are most likely to see the buttons at the bottom of the phone or the screen on your phone. If you are using a computer, and the best way to do these things is to use the computer, then you'll see it's like you are seeing my screen. So you have a stream. The stream is like a forum, like a WhatsApp group where you can say something, someone can respond to, and so on and so forth. So you see that just at the first button, the stream, and that is the default location when you kind of log into Classroom. You will see I have attached these two files. Get to know how Google Classroom works by watching these two videos. And that is what you'll be greeted with the moment you log into Classroom. And only a few people, I can see some 11 comments here. Yeah, so I assume that these 11 people maybe watched it before the exam, and these people will have a full control over how the system works, how to turn in the multiple ways that you can attach a file and turn in your results and so on and so forth. Two, one is 9 minutes, one is 5 minutes. If you haven't still watched it, go and watch it. So basically that is the forum. You can post things here for your class people to see and comment on, but they should be about the course, the things you are learning. It can be some challenge. You can put it there, anybody at all can respond to for you to get answers to it. So that is how you use here. You don't let it be blank and you don't decide not to come here. You come here and do stuff like that. The classwork tab, this second one, this is where everything is. If I had shared some materials with you, if I had shared some attachments with you, PDFs, words, videos, whatever, this is where all of them will be organized. If I have to set a quiz for you, you will see create. This is where all of them will be organized. And of course, I did set a quiz for you. So these are the quiz items. You go to create if you're a teacher, and you can create quiz assignment items for students. Now, basically, that's how it works. The people side is to see yourselves as learning community. So you can see your own friends and you can send, I think, direct specific message to them when you click on these three buttons. You can see email students. From my side, you can see email students or some other few options. So basically, that is how it is. That is the basic functionality. It's not difficult. As a student, you will see when you click on a test item, like here, you should see an option to turn in the various ways to turn in, either to create Google Sheets, if it is an Excel-based work, whether to create Google Form, Google Docs, or attach an external file. All of them are there. Watch the videos to know how they are done. Now let's go through the assignment quickly. This is the assignment. In the assignment, you have these instructions, very basic instructions. And the instructions are saying, you are a junior data analyst at Accra Electronics Limited, a company that sells technology products to individual and corporate clients across Ghana. Your supervisor has given you a data set containing 300 sales invoices from 2025, and asks you to perform initial exploration of the data using Python and Pandas. So basically, it's like the stuff we've been playing with in class. Before you begin, so these are some guidelines. Before you begin, download the CSV file below, upload it into your notebook using one of the following two. If you're using a Google Colab, we did how to attach a worksheet, a data set to your Google Colab current session. If you are using, Anaconda installed on your computer, I demonstrated to you how you can locate the folder in which the Jupyter Notebook file is deposited when you create one. And for easy analysis, the downloaded data sets Accra Electronic Sales.csv. Put it in the same folder as your Jupyter Notebook file so that you skip any tortuous maneuvers like importing OS, changing directory, and stuff like that. Yeah. So the first option is the easiest because you are not doing an offline test. You are doing an online test. Maybe I shouldn't even have brought the option B, but the option B being there was to give you flexibility. If that is the easiest one, but you don't go and do it if it is not the easiest one. And many people also didn't learn about how to use Google Colab, so they were reduced to only working offline. So even though they didn't know exactly how to go about it, they were supposed to still do that thing because they didn't know Colab, right? Colab, this is they attached this one, section B, hands-on data exploration. This is Google Colab itself. It's a notebook file in Google Colab. So you open and you work with it directly. And because I made a copy for each student, it means that the one in your portal is a copy that when you complete, it's already there. You don't even need to do any submission. This is the data set that you need to attach to your Colab or your Jupyter notebook if you are doing offline. Whatever you are doing, either with Colab or offline notebook, you need to use the data set. So this is the data set. So this is how you should have handled it. You click here. Let's say I'm a student. I have a copy like this. I have this copy in my... Can you still see my screen? I guess so.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So this is, when I click on it, I see a notebook. Why should I download this? It is already in attachment to my classroom. Why should I download it and go and do it in Anaconda? And why were you kind of thinking like that? Yeah, because you didn't prepare enough. So next time you learn well, you use your, and you didn't learn with your, what do we call it? With your learning communities. You didn't do that. So if you have it, so some people came here and it's like they have not done anything from the very beginning. They have not even gone to their learning communities before. So everything is very new for them, right? So if you have this, all that we were saying is this. Quiz 1, let's say quiz 1 section B, or quiz data analysis with Accra Electronic Sales. Welcome to this practical quiz. You will be working with the Accra Electronic Sales data sets to demonstrate your understanding, blah, blah, blah. Instructions: run each code cell in order. Complete any task specified in the markdown cells. Analyze the output and answer any questions. Just respond to the questions as they are. You didn't have to import this. So let me see. It's now connecting to Google Colab server to allocate me computing resources. All right, so I have computing resources here. And then you can have your drive. At this point in time, this session is a fresh session. You don't have the data set attached. So this is where your downloading of the data sets becomes necessary. So when I come here and I come here, okay, I can open it in Google Sheets. Let me see this three dots if it has an option to download. Okay, so I can download here from here. You can download it. And then this is where it is. So let me click on this folder and see. Okay, so it's inside my downloads. It came into my downloads, right? I'm not sure you're seeing. So I've downloaded it. It has come to my downloads folder. You have to check where your default download location is. So now I can get rid of this and come back to my notebook file. I just need to attach that data set to this session. This is my drive. Google gives you this sample data sets to work with, the sample data, but this is not what we are working with. We need to attach our own data sets, and that's where you getting that data set was there. Then you see this upward. I'm teaching you this. This is not Arabic. So go and learn and do the same. If you go and sit down and it scores 0, you have scored your 0. So you click on this upward button. And then when you come to the downloads folder, you see Accra Electronics. I just double click on it and then attach it to my current Google session, Colab session. So it is downloading. I think my internet is a little bit slow, but so let's wait for some time. It's attaching. So we wait for it to attach. I think it is here. We can see it here. So it is attached. Yeah, so now that I have the data sets in my session, the rest is responding to these codes. And then look at the instruction word. Task 1, load the data set, 5 marks. Your first task is to load the data set, Accra Electronics Sales CSV, into Pandas data frame. Once loaded, display the first 5 rows to ensure it has been loaded correctly. And now you come here. These are step-by-step guide. It says load the data set into a Pandas data frame. In a code cell, when you see this hash symbol, it means that the Python should treat this as a comment, not a code. So it will not run it. This is a comment for any user. This one too was a comment for you. So here it says your code here, complete the code below by replacing the underscore. This is the code. df equals pd.readcsv into brackets. And in your case, I think I did a placeholder here, like something like this. So let me do. If you had seen something like this, yeah. So all you needed to do is that, okay, and we have demonstrated this in class. So you know how to do that, and I can come and click on these 3 buttons or right click on that file and copy the file path and delete this underscore. The underscore is a placeholder for the file name, and then I put it there. And that's it. That's all you need to do. And then when I run, let's see what it's saying. Okay, I have not run the packages. That also tells you that these are the packages that will be able to do the work that you are saying it should do. If the packages are not imported yet, it means you don't have the packages to do the job. That's why it's saying name error, name PD is not defined because in your code you said PD.read CSV. Meanwhile, you have not imported PD. So let's run this one first. We should have done this one first before this one will work. And now you can come back and run this and everything should be fine. Okay. So we are going ahead. So you would have seen this, and this is simple to do. Attaching a file to a Google Colab analysis session, a Google Colab session, has been demonstrated in class, and it is as simple as clicking here, directing it to where the file is on your computer, and then clicking OK or double clicking on the file to attach it like this. You just communicate with the system any information it is giving you, it is feeding you back in the process of attaching the file. So this is simply what you should have done. And then the next task says initial data exploration. Complete the codes below to perform initial data exploration steps. Use the methods learned in class to 1. Display the first 5 rows of the data frame using the dot head. Display the last 5 rows of the data set using the dot tail. Get a concise summary of the data frame, including data types and non-null values using the dot info. So everything has been told you. You are not really learning anything, and we have demonstrated all of these things to you. Everything you need to do has been specifically told you. So except if you don't learn, this should be simple. Someone in primary school who pays attention to what he's being taught can do this exercise I give to you, no doubt about it. So now I come to the main cells. It says display the first 5 rows. That one has already been done, but of course it is still requested it. So you do it. You run it here, just repeating the first one to initiate the analysis. Complete the code below to display the last 5 rows of the data set, 4 marks. So this is your code. It said your code here. And one thing I saw was that most of you, I didn't know if they were seeing these things as Arabic. They were not even reading it to see what it was telling them. They were just sitting there. Your code here, maybe I should have said your code below, but your code here is quite sensible. It means that you have to complete the one here. And it says complete the code below. The below is just this one by replacing the underscore, except if you don't know underscore. So I didn't know why people were sitting down. So I removed the underscore completely. And then I complete it. This one is saying complete the code below to display the last 5 rows of the data set. And we know what the last 5 rows is. And even if you don't remember the function, it says display, when you come here, display the last 5 rows of the data frame using the dot tail. So it has solved it for you. So I just say tail, this is all you need to do, and run. And then you are done. So this is the last, the bottom of the table. This is the tail of the table. This is the head of the table. This is the bottom or the tail of the table. And this is quite commonsensical. We are not teaching you anything up in the skies. These are basic things around us every day. And this is simple to do. Tail. Tail is the last 5 rows of the data set. Tail. Everybody knows tail. Everybody knows head. So you don't behave as if you are teaching you something that needs not to be taught. The next one is saying complete the code below to print the data frames info. If you want to probably even check, just come to where the info is. The info function is here. So you just say your code here, complete the code below by replacing the underscore. And here you are doing the info. So df dot, you just clear the underscore. The underscore is a placeholder, and just say info. And then you run. And then you get this. The next one says complete the code below to display descriptive statistics for numerical columns. Your code here. Complete the code below by replacing the underscore. So descriptive statistics, the describe function, you can go back, all of those things were told you. Describe. You can copy if you want to, you don't want to type mistake, you can copy it as you have put it here. Describe. So I just say df.describe. Yes, and it gives me this descriptive statistics. Okay, we have these columns and there are various statistics. The quantity column, the count is 300. The mean is 10.1167. The 50th percentile is 10. 75th percentile. Some statistics. The next one is complete the code below to display the sum of missing values per column. And then when you even come here, all the clues are here. Check for missing values across all columns using .snr .sum. So you see that here it has given you df dot, the snr is missing, the sum is there. So you just put the snr there. Snr or is any. When we do this and it gives us if there are any missing values. Yeah, of course, some columns have missing values. Unit price has 15 missing values. Total amount also has 15 missing values. And you can see them here. And that's all you needed to do. The next one is saying task 3 correlation analysis. Now let's investigate the relationship between numerical variables in the data set. So some sort of correlation matrix. And then maybe you could have also done a pair plot using a pair plot function in Seaborn. Or if you do a correlation matrix, you can pass it through the heat map function in Seaborn to kind of give you some graphical representation. So let's see. Complete the code below to calculate the correlation matrix for numerical columns. Your code here. Complete the code below by replacing the underscore. It says correlation matrix as the object name equals now the code df dot, and then here it has even given you the function dot call. So you just clear here. And you say CORR. And when you run, it will display because it has called a display function to display the correlation matrix object you created. So it will show the correlation matrix. It's showing an error. Let's see what the problem is. Could not convert string to float. Okay. Okay, so usually when you are calculating the correlation matrix, you calculate it on numerical columns. So the challenge here is that it's trying to calculate it on all the columns. You couldn't separate the numerical columns. So maybe for exam purposes, this part of the code might probably give you an error, but let's see how you debug it. That is not really part of the exam. So if I look at the data set, DF, Mhm. Okay, so it means that a correlation matrix can be computed between the quantity, the unit price, and the total amount variables. All right, so what we can do is we can collect these variables. We can collect these columns. We can say maybe numerical columns. This is tutorial, right? It's not really part of what you were supposed to do because we didn't add it to the question. Okay, so we can do something like this code. There are various ways you can do it. I think the most simplest way you can do this is to just say, I'm creating a numerical column. So numerical. Let me say numerical columns. And then I say is equal to, this is also very straightforward code to type, df.select d type. D type is the data type of the column. So when I do, let me intentionally do something like this before this code. When I do df dot d types, when I do df dot d types, it's giving me all the columns and their data types. So invoice ID, object, date is object. It means date is not even well formatted. Date is stored as a string, which is not that good. Customer type is object, region is object, product category is object. Quantity is int, it's an integer. Unit price is float, which is also numeric. So the numeric columns are int, float, these three. Right. So when you say df.select d types, so select d types is a function. Then you say include equals number. Then it's only going to select the columns with numeric data types, right? So when we run this code and then we call for numerical columns, just for you to see what its content is, you will see that it is just these 3 columns that has numerical values like this. Or, okay, I think that is okay. This is a simple. There are many ways to do that, so you can learn other ways to do that. You can use AI to learn. Another way you can kind of select only the multiple columns. You can call for the column names. This by slicing or by cutting that portion of the table into a different table or object. So once we have this called numerical columns, then we can say correlation matrix equals numerical columns dot call. And then I think it should run because this is correlation matrix. And all of them are going to be numbers in this case, right? So that was the problem with this one. I think the system itself should have this is bad. Python Pandas itself should have collected only the numerical variables. Any question?
Please, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
Sir, please, at the read CSV where you upload your file, the file, do you use copy as path or you go for the of the file?
Please come again.
If you want to upload the file under the read CSV,
you are saying you have to be very careful with your words. Otherwise, your words can be used against you. Upload. See, here, this one was not here before. So when I want to upload it from my computer into here, you use this button. Now that it is here, when you use this button, it will ask you where on your computer. So you see this thing, where on your computer is it? It is here, so you can double click on it and it will attach it. That is what I understand to be your upload. If it is not that one, then once you have uploaded it and it's in your session, if you want to read this part, if you want Pandas to read this data set, then you give the part of the data set to Pandas. That is what the read CSV does. Read CSV reads the part of the file and then it gets the content. Let's go to read CSV. This is read CSV. Read CSV takes this argument, the path of the file, plus some other arguments. You can use AI to check the full arguments for the read CSV file. But the key one is the path of the file. So if you want to get a path of the file, you can right-click on the file or you can click on these three buttons. You can see a lot of items, including copy path. That is all. You copy and paste it into these quotation marks. Is your question answered, please?
Sir, but please, I have one last question concerning downloading the file. Do you have to always save it in Excel as in PDF in Excel form?
PDF in Excel form. I'm confused.
So, sir,
When they
download PDF form, we should save the Excel PDF form.
No. PDF is not CSV. You should download it in the same CSV because you're going to use a function that reads CSV, it doesn't read PDF. So if you say read CSV, it expects that the file is CSV and then its data says it is PDF. Then you expect a conflict.
Okay. So, sir, then how do you save it in a CSV form?
It means when I was saving mine, you didn't check. Okay, let me give it to you as an assignment. The same demonstration I'm doing to you, all of you should meet as learning communities. If you don't meet, that is not my problem. I have showed you the way to solve your problems and learn to help your own selves. Meet as learning communities. Go over the whole thing I'm doing. Someone will get something quicker and better. You might not have gotten it the same way. You might get something better. Meet and learn from yourselves. Makabu, your hand is up. Go ahead. Makabu, if you don't mean to talk, just put your hand down. Then if you want to talk, just go ahead. Don't waste time. Do you raise your hand for fun? Okay, so the one who asked the question, I guess your questions are answered. The next one you want me to show you, meet it's an instruction for all of you. Meet as learning communities and go over this solution again. Then solve that problem of how to download the file as a CSV. This is a basic computer usage capabilities. Unless maybe we run a program to help all of you guys to know how to use your computer, the functionalities of your computer. Because when I was going around, that was the key challenge. Even though there was an internet challenge, fine. Internet challenge has always been there. Even in my office, I get internet challenge. Everybody gets internet challenge. I think even in the US, sometimes they get internet challenge. But the core challenge was that some people didn't even know where to click. Someone had been clicking somewhere and he has opened a file. He doesn't even know where to go back. Go back to the source he came from. This is knowledge. This is a problem. It means you don't know how to even use the computer. So maybe you will do a program to help you know how to use a computer. Daniel, go ahead.
Please, I want to ask that in this case where you try to calculate the correlation and you were like, there are some columns that are not having numerical value, so it will not work. So I wanted to ask, can you decide to drop all the columns that are not having numerical values and assign a new name to that data frame, and you use that new name to calculate your correlation?
That's just what we have done. We have done a similar one. There are a number of ways you can collect the numerical columns. You can drop all the non-numerical columns. Then it will remain only the numerical column and store that one as another table. That is the same thing as what we have done. What we did here is we created a column called numerical column. And instead of using df.drop and dropping the non-numerical columns to create a new column, we use another function. df.select dtypes include equals numbers. To explore the various ways you can do the same thing. You can use drop to drop the non-numerical columns. You can also intentionally, you can do something like this. You can do, let's say, let me see if I create this let me do this for numerical columns. And then I will say is equal to df square brackets. So this first square bracket is an accessor, is an indexer. It means that I'm taking something, I'm kind of slicing something from df. All right. So when I say df, for example, before I do this, let me just show you what exactly I'm trying to do. When I say df square brackets, let's say this column name, quantity, and I run this, it will slice the quantity column as a series. So you see that this is a quantity column. Yeah. So now when I come and say df, but I want to do a list, not just one. So the first bracket, square bracket, is indexer, but the second one is a list. So I'm going to say, what are the columns? So the numerical columns are this and this and this. Let me copy them and then I will see how to manage them inside when I paste. So I put them here. But all I need to do, I say this is a quotation. Sorry. This is a quotation. This is a quotation. And then comma. Quotation. Quotation. Comma. Quotation. and then last quotation. Yes, so this is another way you can collect the numerical column. So when I run this, it will take, because I say it should slice it, it should take those columns and put them into this num call. So now if I call num call, you see that it has the same thing. Num call. Okay, so num call has the same columns as using this function, the select d types function. You can use the drop. So try to be experimental, right? Are you okay? Is your question answered?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Albert, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so please, I was trying to put mine. So when I open the Google Classroom and I click on the Google Colab, the file to the Google Colab, it opens, but the file doesn't come. Like the items doesn't come. It's just my name and the name of the file that shows up. The rest doesn't show.
Okay, solve that issue with your learning community. At this point in time, just follow. What I'm teaching you is the right thing. Any small issues with file downloading and other things, you basically require some time, and maybe sometimes something small is missing somewhere. Meet as a learning community and go over this whole thing. Again, you'll be able to solve all of those problems. Okay, so now we have the correlation, and I've also taken the opportunity to add some tutorials about how to get the numerical columns. In other words, how to, cut off some columns from the main table and store them as a new column and use them for some other analysis like this. Now we have our correlation matrix on the numerical columns. And this one is asking us to visualize the correlation matrix. All right, so with heat map. So there's a function in Seaborn. So here you have this plt.figure. If you don't understand this one, this is pre-coded for you. You don't need to do it yourself, it's there for you. All that you need to do is where we have the placeholder underscore. So sns.heatmap is a function. The main argument it takes is the correlation matrix. All of these other things are not equals through CMap because other enhancements that we want to do onto the heat map. So this is where you have to do your edit. So you have to clear this thing and then give the correlation matrix to it. Where's the correlation matrix? Here is it. You stored it as correlation matrix. So you copy this. You copy this correlation matrix object and put it here. And that is all. And then run this one. And it will just try to color code for you to see where the heat is. And it is explaining it to you here with this color. So you have -1. So this is like yeah, but of course you can read it kind of using colors to help you to do that. Another way you could have done a similar thing, but it will bring other information was to do something like SNS dot pair plot, and then we say df. Okay, so pair plot can do correlation matrix on the whole of the data frame. And try to graphically visualize any graphical correlations between them. So you can also use it alongside this heat map and then the correlation matrix. Any question? It looks like someone has a question.
Yes, sir. Sir, please,
go ahead.
With the correlation part. You see, you created a column for the correlation matrix. For the numeric matrix.
I didn't create a column for correlation matrix.
Please, for the numeric column.
Yes.
Yes, please. Sir, please, what if you don't create column, but rather you just input with the code will be like df.core, then you bring the parentheses, then numeric underscore only is equal to true.
Do it and see if it works for you, then go by it.
Okay, say it's worked, then I'm asking if I can go by it.
If it works, that's okay. You see, the
Sure,
reason why I
sure.
said it so is this. There are many, many ways. Some of them I might not know, I might not probably have even used some other options before. It doesn't mean
Okay.
that, yes, it doesn't mean that what I'm showing is the only way. So you should be that experimental. If you do it that way and
Okay.
it works, and sometimes you can use AI to check. There are many ways you can do the same thing, especially in Python. It works,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
Sure. So that's okay.
Thank you very much.
Any other question? Okay, so that is it. And then all of you fucked up. When I was going around, I was just sick. So meet as learning community. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm intentionally going to make you do this thing as an assignment. I have solved it with you, but I'm going to make you do it as an assignment. So you should see that the purpose is not the marks you guys chase. The purpose is learning. Do it as group with your learning community. Learning community leaders, if any group member doesn't come, be honest enough to let me know. Do it as a group, and when each group has done it, then each group member will submit a copy of it in that member's name, as if it is an individual assignment, but do it as a group. Group leaders, let me have the feedback of people who did not participate. Is that okay? Joel, talk.
Hello, sir.
Joel, go ahead.
Please, I was
And
asking
try
that
to
if
speak
you can
close to
go
your,
over the section after the correlation part.
please, get closer to your device and speak. Your voice is far away.
And please, I was saying that can you please go over the section after the correlation part? My network wasn't stable, so I couldn't.
I'll share the notebook. I'll share the notebook with all of you in your, what do you call it? On your WhatsApp platform. And two, you are supposed to redo all of these things in your learning communities. So all the parts that you missed, you will be catered for through that exercise. Okay, any questions on this specific assignment? Okay, so no questions. That is it for this one. Yes. Please come again. I couldn't get you. Okay, so I just shared a notebook file with you. You need to get a copy of it at each community member, and then you go through it and go and meet as a group, as a learning community group. so that you will be able to grasp every missing details you have. If you don't do it and you go and use your time to do your own thing, that is it. So let's put this session to an end. If there is no further question. So now let's come to today's task. All of this is today's task. So let me say, let's come to the second phase of what we have to do today. I think that's how. I'm going to unshare my screen. Okay, so now let me try to share the screen for the next phase. I'm not going to be lengthy. I'm just going to be brief with what we have to do. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today we are going to introduce ourselves to the world of databases. Database is a technology we use to store the data that is coming in through your business activities or any other activities that is happening in your organization, not necessarily only business. But we are talking about databases as a technology for storing data. The first one that we will need to talk about is relational databases. It's like the mother of all databases. The history has it that there's one researcher at IBM who invented the relational model for storing data because it was quite problematic updating data, querying data, updating data with the old style of storing data anyhow. So it was based on a mathematical model. Set model is there, some other mathematical theories are there. At this point, we are not too much interested in those kind of mathematics, but if you are interested, you can read about the mathematical underpinnings of the relational model. You can read and understand them. So the relational model brought about what is called relational database management systems. There have been softwares which has been built using the relational model. And the relational databases also uses the SQL computer programming language. So RDBMSs, or Relational Database Management Systems, are software packages that have been built on the relational model, and those software packages speak, so to say, the SQL language. So you need to know how to interact with RDBMSs through the SQL language. That's the language they understand. That's the language that you will need to interact with a computer through the RDBMS for the computer to be able to do data management, data querying, data definition, and all of those kind of things with data management. Yeah. So let's speak something about it. So usually the relational database management system, which is built with a SQL language, is broken into subcomponent languages. The whole SQL is broken into subcomponent languages. We have a language that we use to create the database objects. So let me talk about how the relational databases look like. They are basically tables. Let me show you an example. I think at this point in time, I need to share my whole computer so that I can be moving around. Okay, so when I come here, can you see this access file? So I'm going to open Microsoft Access here and use it to show you the things I'm speaking about here. When I open, this is an Access database. Access is also built on the relational model, and it also uses the SQL language, but it has the option where you can build everything from click graphical perspective, but you can also build everything from the SQL language perspective. So this is a database I did with your predecessors, your seniors in level 300 now. We demonstrated with Access how we can create a relational database for club, let's say campus club, campus social club. So in the relational database, all we do is that the system that you want to model, all the logical separate components, get them. So for example, with this social club system, we have members as a separate component of the club. We have programs, occupation, dues. As you read more on the relational model, you get to understand how to decompose the system into these components. Each of these components is called an entity. So that is a relational database terminology. The entities are the separate, independent, logical components of the system. So like this social club system, the separate, independent, logical components are members, occupation, dues, programs. There can be some other things as well. So you break it like this. And then you store dues specific data in dues. Don't mix data. So you don't store members and then you add their dues to it. No. That is the challenge with the old system that makes updating your database, managing your whole database very complex and with a lot of mistakes. So you break everything up into its logical component and store the data specific to each component. So when you talk about members, what are some of the features of members that are specific to members? So now we can open this one and see. When you open this table, let me open it in data in design view. So these are the attributes. The attributes are also called tuples. They are also called, no, the attributes are also called fields or columns. So these attributes or the features of members that we want to store: first name, surname, gender, date of birth, marital status, phone, email, address. If there is something else specific to members that you want to store, but make sure it is not cross-carpeting into occupation program dues. It has to be member-specific data. You can add all of them as it is informative for you, as you want to keep them because you need that kind of data for further usage. So in the class, this is what we decided, and I think it is cool. Now there is this guy called member ID. In relational database systems, this is very, very important concept. We call it primary key. You see, people can be the same by surname. And it will surprise you that if you are collecting data sets, we are collecting data for the whole world. Everybody in the world is a member of our club. It will surprise you that we can hit a situation where multiple people, or at least more than one person, has two or more people have the same surname, the same first name, the same gender, the same date of birth, the same marital status, maybe not the same phone number. Yeah, but okay, so this one will probably create a difference. But what we do is that in some situations, especially if, let's say, the database is keeping first name, surname, gender, date of birth, it will surprise you that you can have multiple people who have the same thing. And in that case, these people, there are three people, they have the same thing. So how are they different? So we always create an ID field, ID column, that regardless of how equal or different this one are, this one will always create a difference among the members we are storing or the records we are storing. Primary key. Apart from being a unique identifier, it is also very key in establishing relationship between entities, between relations, between tables. See, we have broken these tables into pieces and each one is storing its own specific data. Now, if you want information like members and the dues they have paid, then there should be a relationship between these two tables, members and the occupations that they have, and so on and so forth. Primary keys are used alongside foreign keys to establish relationship between tables. So in your reading, the book is for you. Read. That is your job being here for 4 years, is to read, and not the kind of things you like doing. So read, you understand all of these things. So we do this breakdown and we have this number of tables. And then the creation of the whole database, and then these tables is within the sub-language called data definition language. So if you see data definition language, used to create, modify, and delete database structures. Example, create table. This is a syntax. Create table, table name. So when I write create table, this is a language, the syntax. Space, then what name do I want to give to the table? I add a table name. Now I have to specify the columns, and the data type for each column. Basically, that's the structure of a table. Then it will create it. We will have a session where we demonstrate this. So for this time, just understand these things and read through them. Then we have data manipulation language. If you create the database objects like tables, you need to store data into them. So insert into. If you have inserted, sometimes there becomes the need for you to change one or two things. For example, you realize, okay, maybe the email address was typed wrongly, so you want to update the email address. So insert, update, delete, rows, all of them belong to the data manipulation sub-language of the SQL language. Data query language. Now you have the database, like we have for our access. Let me get back to the access again. Okay. So now we have established relationships between the tables. In this particular case, we have done it. So you can see the relationship map, and you can see it graphically like this. These are very big. Let me make this. Okay, so currently these are the relationships we have between the table. There's a relationship between members and dues, members and occupation. And there's no relationship with programs. Or maybe it doesn't make sense to do that. So that once we have the relationship set right, we can now call for information. We can call for things from the data. So we can pull information from here and here and here and make our report. Once there are relationships, it will get all of them right. Okay. So now let's see an example. For example, we might want to say, so if you come to create and say create a query, you will see the data, the tables that you can pull information from. So if we want to pull information from members, we want to pull information from the dues they have paid. Let's say for now, this is the report we want to build. So the members, we want their, we can bring the columns in any order when we are doing the query. Maybe we want their email first, and then their surname and first name. And then we want to see the amount they have paid. Right? So we have done a query. Then when we run the query, we will see the query. So the query is saying, okay, these are the members. This is the email for each member because we said it should come first. The surname is, as you see them, the first name is here, and this is the amount they have paid. And you can... Hello, any question? Your connectivity is very poor, so we can't hear you. So this is what we call data query language. In SQL language terms, you use the keyword is select. So this kind of thing I did, it would have been written as select, then the columns, select email, surname, first name, amount paid, from is another keyword. From which table? From members, then inner join with dues. So there's a way we type it as a SQL language. So now let's come back to it. So data query language used to retrieve data. Example, the fundamental select statement. And you need to know about those things. They're very important. These are some terminologies. I've already mentioned them, but you need to go through them. Relation, attribute, tuple, cardinality, degree. So that is a quick introduction to the relational model, and then the SQL language that powers the relational database management systems. Access is an example, is an instance of an RDBMS. It's an example of an RDBMS because it's built on the relational model. It can use SQL, for example. Let me try to see here. Yes. When I come to create, when I come to create and I say, I choose this one, SQL query, then it will give you this interface, right? Where you can do all the things I did through SQL code. So I can say select, let's say select star from member. And then let's run. Right, so select star means all. Then this is a query language, so that's a SQL syntax. Create table, so you can do all of them through that window. Access is, let's say, a small version of an RDBMS. Examples of the heavyweight ones are MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle, and those ones. Yeah, so you can begin to learn one of them, maybe Postgres or MySQL. Let me see if I can show you. And when you learn one, you have basically learned the rest. Differences are very small, right? Okay. So now let's talk about any questions. Let me pause here and ask if there are questions. Okay. And apart from RDBMS, which is built to speak the the SQL language, there are also other database technologies. The RDBMS technology is well suited for structured data, transactional data. So let's say bank transactions. So everything is that structured. Let's say student records management, students, their names, their gender, their scores, blah, blah. Those kind of structured data, RDBMS is perfect for it. But there could be other data formats that are not that structured. So we have, yes, Ofosuhene, go ahead. You attempted talking, but your network was bad.
Hello there. Please,
Yes.
I was saying my network is breaking, so if you can kindly record the section for us, I'll be very
Yes,
grateful.
the session is being recorded.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So there are other database technologies that accommodate for flexible structure as opposed to that strict structure that RDBMS is built for. We call those other database technologies that are flexible in their structure NoSQL, and it means not only SQL. Some sort of, okay, this is like the opposite of SQL. If SQL is rigid, this is not that rigid. Okay, an example of NoSQL database management system is MongoDB. So we have examples here. MongoDB, Cassandra, and others. For RDBMS, which is structured, you can have examples like MySQL or MySQL, PostgreSQL. There are a number of them. You can use your AI model to check on all of these things. And this table is giving you the key differences between them. But in the real world, organizations don't use this, either this or that. Usually they use them in combination, what they call the polyglot persistence. Some issues in your business will be better managed with RDBMS, and others might be better managed with NoSQL. And that's what you do it to get the best of the two worlds. Now let's come to chapter 11. Chapter 11 is talking about some of the issues that we need to know when we are doing our RDBMS in order to get the data management system we are building to be very tight, to be quality, to have all the integrity that it deserves. We look at those issues through the window of the terminology called normalization. And it's mostly all about the tables, because in relational databases or relational database management systems, everything, the key things are the tables. Everything is almost the table. So normalization is all about your table structuring, how you set your tables so that they adhere to principles of integrity, so that later your database will be robust to prevent all the anomalies as we have discussed above. So what is normalization? Normalization basically is setting your table such that you take away the possibilities of anomalies like update anomaly, delete anomaly, insert anomaly, and all of those kind of anomalies. You can read them from the book. So normalization are usually in steps. You are defining your tables to behave in a way so that redundancies and anomalies are removed. So we structure it in steps. The first step, we call it first normal form. First normal form. We're talking about normalization. The first stage in the normalization process is called first normal form, usually abbreviated as 1NF. First normal form, 1NF. What is involved in making your table adhere to 1NF or first normal form? And you build on top of that. So it means that second normal form, 2NF, to have 1NF already, and then it adds onto that. Third normal form should have 2NF already, and then it builds something onto that. And we can have fourth normal form, fifth normal form, and so on and so forth. But usually when you set your tables to adhere to first, second, third normal form, you are very good to go. You have a very good database system. So now let's go through them. I'll share a video on normalization with you. It's already a pre-recorded video in my YouTube, on my YouTube channel. I'll just find a link and share them with you. But let's quickly go through them. First normal form. In our context, first normal form, your table should have primary keys, and your columns, you shouldn't have repeating columns. Some columns are basically the same column we have broken into two. For example, phone 1, phone 2 to record multiple phone numbers. No. So that is in the realm of atomicity. So everything should be one. Okay. So if everything should be 1, then if we have people have multiple phone numbers and we are interested in storing all the multiple phone numbers, how do we do it? We can't do phone 1, phone 2. And you cannot also do phone. And then inside the phone, under the phone column, you have a number like 02465136555/ no. All the values under the column should be 1. Should be 1. So there's a way we handle it. So if that is the case, you move the phone that is having these multiple things into an entity on itself. Maybe you can call it contact, where you can add email and other things, and then you relate it back to the people who have that information through primary key and foreign key communication. We'll look at that through a practical session. So that's one key thing about first normal form, primary key, atomic values, basically. Yeah. Then second normal form, eliminating partial dependency. Second normal form builds on first normal form. It applies especially when a table has a composite primary key. A table is in second normal form when all non-key attributes depend on the whole key, not just part of it. So it sounds a little bit technical, but all it is saying is this. In second normal form, we try to force the table to store only specific data. This is where we don't want to bring some unrelated data to the table. For example, members table, and then we have some fee columns or fee related information in the members table. So 2NF or second normal form forces you to eliminate those things. So all it is saying is that the table is represented by the table's key. So members in this case, for example, okay, so when I come to the members, let me open members in design view and let's see the fields in the members table. So you see that members has this primary key, member ID. So we assume that the table is represented by this ID. In other words, so when we say all the other attributes like first name, surname, gender, date of birth, marital status, phone, blah, 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 to strictly relate to this, all we are saying in normal terms is that all of these data, all of these
Jangan, ini nanti ya. Bora. Wih, one. Ini no, this is another window. It's you close that signal. Yes.
Who is the person with his microphone on? Please mute your microphone. So when we are talking about second normal form, it only means that all of these columns you have created, all of these attributes, first name, surname, gender, date of birth, up to address, all of them should be attributes about the member, should be attributes about members. That is the meaning of all of these things strictly relating to the primary key. None of them should relate to some other entity. That is basically what it means. Any question, please, at this point in time? And then third normal form builds on second normal form to eliminate transitive dependencies. So it is another fine-tuning to make sure that the information in the table pertains to the same entity and not bringing in other entity. In other words, you ask yourself a further question that is some non-key, for example, if we have, let me easy access to demonstrate. Is there a situation where some other columns like this can depend on the primary key through some other non-primary key attributes? It's a little bit technical, but when you are doing it, it's not that technical. So the third normal form is that if, for example, you have we have date of birth here. Let me see. Yes, we have date of birth. And then we also have age, something like that. And we also have age. Then you see that we can get the age through the date of birth. So this is like one thing can be gotten through another. Here we are trying to say that every column here should be gotten through only the primary key and not through another column which is not the primary key. That is the third normal form. But we are doing it in the practical session. We will demonstrate how you do that. So when you are done doing all of these things, then you have normalized your tables up to the third normal form, and your database will be fine-tuned, will be good for you to get a well-structured and a well-functioning database that can scale so that you can get intelligence from your stored data. So that is basically about normalization. Then read on referential integrity. It is basically talking about the main subject of building relationships between tables. So one table referencing another table through primary key, foreign key connections, right? So, and then connected to table relationships and referential integrity is also the concept of joins. Types of joins, inner join, outer join, left join, right join, and those kind of things. So read through them, use LLMs or your AI models to break things down to, at least in the first time, try to understand them. You will be able to connect with them more practically when we are setting up a sample database. We'll use Access so that you can connect with it quickly. A sample database, you'll be able to understand all of these technical things when we are doing the practical sessions. Okay, so I'll end it here. And then you are supposed to go through chapters 10 to 12, as I'm showing here, before we start the practical session with Access. Access because Access will make it friendly for you to connect with. Any question before we close? Any question?
No question.
Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead if you have a question. Okay, so it looks like nobody has a question. Then, yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir, please, I think somebody asked a question earlier, but I didn't get the answer you gave about the quiz. Are we going to do the exact same thing in exam?
Nobody asked that question. The same thing, the same style in exams. I'm thinking about it because of the way the internet, of course, we can make it paper-based, but I don't feel comfortable in this age where we still print plenty papers. Yeah, but the internet also doesn't work. So please, I'll give you feedback in good time, far ahead of the exam, so you can prepare well for it. Whether you will do something like this, but the internet experience was bad, and if you have to print it, the heavy printing. So you let me do a few checks, and then I'll give you a feedback.
Okay.
Any other question? All right, so time is fast spent, so let's end it here. We'll continue the practical session next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, someone's hand is up. Please, you can go ahead. Your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Yeah, dear. $1,200. $1,200. Okay. Yeah.